So the first thing I do is I have to figure out what kind of instant noodles I'm going to have. This is one of my hampers. It's full of all sorts of different kinds. Today I think I want to try something Japanese. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this one. This was sent to me by somebody in Hong Kong. So there's that. There's the pick of the day. The next step is to figure out what kind of backdrop I'm going to use. These are all placemats and different, furniture covering samples, upholstery samples, all sorts of different stuff that I've picked up from different places. I think this one will look good. So, yeah, perfect. Nice blue background. The next step is to take a picture of the package. Photos are kind of the main thing. Everybody wants to see what the noodles are going to look like. So do the package, and then I've got to open up the package and put the contents. I usually put them in a little container, and then I got to take a picture of the noodles. Usually I don't hold them like this because they're usually in a block. This is the soup base sachet, and then I put the contents of that in a small bowl. Next, I photograph the bowl and scan the back of the package. This is so you can see the actual way you make it, more information on ingredients and such. And here I am editing the image. I try to make everything look as nice as possible. And now I'm editing the images for the individual photos that I just took. I take these pictures, I change the size of them, crop them, put my watermark on them, and then I optimize them so they'll be nice and small for people to see, so they load fast on their web browser. And the next step is to start writing the post. Today it's Itsuki Hakata Asyoi, number 1872. Now I've got to change the name of all the images. And there's the picture of the package. And now I'm going to start typing in my thoughts on it, mentioning the person who sent them to me. And now it's time for garnish. Of course, hard-boiled egg goes good with the tonkatsu. Some Naruto maki and some barbecue pork. These are mung bean sprouts, some spring onion. I'm using a negi cutter for that. And then I just snip them with scissors. And then the bowls. I have been collecting bowls for quite a long time. I'm always on the hunt for some new way to display instant noodles. So picked one from there. And now we place the mat down and the bowl. Now it's time to adjust the light a little bit. I always try to make sure exactly the right amount of water is used, and this calls for 450 milliliter, and I think that's about as close as I can get it. So now we're in the stage of preparing the noodles. So some time lapse for you. And here go the noodles. These particular noodles only take a minute to cook, pretty quick. And the timer is done. So, time to take that off the stove and add in the soup base. And I just add a little bit of water to it, to the cup, swirl it around until everything's in the pot. Give it a nice stir. And then now I taste it. And now this is the actual spot where the actual review score comes from. I don't review based on any of my additions to it. The only reason I add stuff to it is I like to make instant noodles and look nice, and also I usually have these for one of my meals. So first I try the broth, and then I try the noodle. I had a very nice rich pork broth along with a Hakata noodle, which has kind of a flour taste to it. Nice chew. And now we're back at the desk. We're adding the noodles and broth to the bowl. Kind of spruce them up a little bit there. And we add our hard-boiled egg and some barbecued pork. Pork is a common addition to Japanese instant noodles and ramen. And our little piece of Naruto maki. Actually, that's kind of a large piece. Some mung bean sprout. Some of our sliced spring onion. A little bit of sesame seeds that came with the barbecued pork. And then some pepper strands, ito turasi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And the next step is, sometimes the broth is very hot and it's of course steaming. So if you notice in the top left, there's a little fan there, and I use that to blow away the steam. And now we just have to take some pictures. A couple little changes to the bowl before doing so, and we're taking pictures. And now I get to eat them, which is pretty nice. And these were excellent. I was quite impressed. Now, this is sped up. I usually don't eat this fast. 5-star stuff. And now what I do is I write the actual post review. And now I'm editing the image of the noodles. Usually what I'm doing here is taking out some glare, maybe adding a little bit of sharpening and stuff. And here's a preview of the post. And all the images, making sure that the links to the large versions of the images, such as this one of the back of the package, work. And then checking the image for the picture of the bowl, make sure it works.